Hey, welcome back to Rust Order Garage and the 1971, figured it out, 1971 Nova build, I guess we'll call it. LS swap, T56 swap, maybe Hydro Boost swap, all kind of stuff I'm considering doing with this. But I did figure out it is a 1971. I checked the trim tag and the VIN, and it is a 71. It's bad when you have enough junk cars laying around, you can't even remember what you bought. So anyway, first thing I'm going to do with this car is get the nose off. And normally I would say if you're new to this, bag all the hardware and put little pieces of paper in a beach bag to say where the hardware goes on the car so you can put it back. And especially if the car is straight and everything's lining up good, any body shims, keep them in bags and labeled to where they came from, so when you put it back together, it'll all go back together. I'm not doing any of that because if you saw, and as you can see, there's not much straight on this car. So other than maybe the grille and the turn signal lights and maybe that headlight trim piece, maybe the hood trim, there's not a whole lot going back on this car that's on it right now. I know I have other fenders, I have other doors, I have a cowl induction hood. I'm pretty sure I have another bumper. Regardless, that one's not going on. I know I have a new filler panel for it. It's sitting right up there. And, you know, I have replacement parts that are going to go on here, so I'm going to have to shim this thing up and get it straight. Many years playing with Chevelles, Novas, Camaros, and stuff, so I have a pretty good idea where the hardware goes, so I'm just going to throw it all in a can. The thing you shouldn't do, but that's what I'm going to do. Plus, it's obvious this car has been apart. I don't know how much of this hardware is even the right hardware. I've already seen that the hood bolts are wrong. They're not the right ones. But if you remember when we did the 56 Chevy truck, I bought like a universal hardware kit, and that was like a GM front end kit. So I'm pretty sure there's bolts in there that will get used here to help put this back together with the replacement panels. But anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Nose has to come off the car before we can get into mocking up the LS and getting everything set. And there's a whole lot of other stuff I'm going to go over during this as well. I'm going to try to give every bit of information I can think of that might be relevant, even if it's not relevant to me right now. So I'm going to take the nose off the car, or at least get started on it. I don't know how much I'll get done right now because it's actually after work and I only have probably less than an hour to be out here right now, honestly. So I'm going to put you on time lapse because I don't think you want to see me turning screws. You get the point. We're going to take it all apart, and if there's any questions, feel free to put it in the comments. But really, you should be able to take this apart no problem. So put you on time lapse. Let's get it off. Does that look like a bumper bolt to you? I don't think so. Yeah, that's what we're finding. Here's a correct bumper bolt, but it's supposed to have two of those serrated washers. I got one for each side. So I'd be digging in my the 5-gallon pails of hardware from many years ago. Find the right stuff when we put this back together. right, well, this is not, look at the dust on me. This is not getting done tonight because I'm out of time. I am running into every mismatched piece of hardware you can think of. Cross-threaded bolts, broken bolts, strip bolts, wrong size hardware, different screws and stuff everywhere. So, yeah, it's going to need a front-end kit of hardware to put this thing back together the right way. I mean, I guess that's to be expected on a car this old now, right? I still look at these as not that old, but they're old. And I'm running into quite the fiasco. So it's no big deal. It'll come off. It's just quite a mess. And it's all going to get thrown away, all the hardware pretty much. I'll keep it for now, but it's going to go. All right, we come back. We'll continue getting this off. I'm out of time for now. All right, fenders are off. Replace this wheel because I'm tired of putting air in it every time I got to move the car. I think I'll do the other side just because it'll look cool. I got the fenders off. Man, this thing was definitely been messed with. Where's my can? This door, I got it open to get to this bolt up here. This door is just hanging. There's no spring on the lower hinge, and you can pick this thing up. I mean, it's like it's not closed. It's just, look at this. I can pick the door up. I know you can't see that well, but trust me, that's a lot. The door is just hanging here. It's not really mounted, and these are weld-on hinges, so hopefully nothing's bent. I don't think it is. And I have to see what kind of doors I have around, if I have weld-on doors or bolt-on doors or what I have. Obviously that door is done. That's just for parts. And I got the window down. Oh, this is broken here too, huh? All right. Yeah, this all got whaled when the car got hit. I guess all this stuff got knocked. I will be getting a new heater core for it. This is not a big a deal as you might think. That'll be a fiberglass repair, and I have plans to modify it anyway, so it's not going to be that big a deal to fix it. I was already going to have to cut it up. I see shifter linkage down there, so this was a Turbo 350 car, I believe. Not a Power Glide, right? Let me check the cluster. Yeah, that's Turbo 350. So it makes sense. I think these frame stands are original. I think somebody was taking them out or something because one bolt was out, but the others are still there. So this was probably an original 307 car. I don't think there's any real way to know, but we're getting there. This is all going to get stripped off, including the master cylinder, because that's one other thing I'm going to be messing around with once I get the LS in place. We're going to see about if a factory 11-inch power brake booster will fit, or if you would have to go smaller, like a 9. And I'm also considering Hydro Boost and modifying one of the Escalade that gave up the LQ9 that's going in. Use that Hydro Boost unit on this, so that's an option too. So we may do that. But I'm going to keep tearing this apart. This radiator support said 2 big bolts, and that'll be out of the way. I'm going to take the wiring off nicely because it actually looks intact. I don't see any major hacks on it. So a lot of that I should still be able to use. Fenders, as expected, are junk. I mean, this was the side that was swiped in it. It had punch holes in it already from a slide hammer. So that's already got filler in it there. This front section is good, so I'll probably cut that off and keep it. I got to keep the marker light. I'm going to need that. I don't think I need the dryer bracket. I need the inner fender, obviously. But I'm running into a bunch of broken clips, so gonna have to deal with a bunch of stuff. And this was the better of the two Fenders, or looked to be the better of two Fenders. It was on the car, but you can see in there. Where's the light? There's all Bondo wormholes in this Fender, including around the opening for the wheel. So this Fender's done. It's not worth messing with a Nova because all this stuff's available, and I already have some spares. So we'll save the inner fender wells, save the hinges, save the marker light. This side does have a good trim piece. Yeah, we'll save that trim piece. And the rest, scrapola. All right, teardown continues. And was thinking about things on this car, which is pretty rough. This car is rougher than I remembered. Gonna need to replace a whole lot on it. But as I always say, I'm not building a show car here, I'm building a driver, so I'm thinking less that it's gonna be black. I just don't know if I have the patience to block the car that long, that much to get it straight. We'll see. Plus the fact, I've been looking at pictures online of Novas, and more, I'm liking kind of like a light metallic blue with dog dishes. I have 14x7 wheels with dog dishes that would fit this car. They're not Super Sport XT wheels, but I think they're the same dimensions. They probably just don't have the exact factory bumps that the Concours guys look for. Not a concern on this build, that's for sure. So yeah, I think more and more I'm thinking that light metallic blue. But then again, I could change my mind again. I don't know. Right now, all I'm concerned about is getting the engine and transmission in and mock up and all that crazy stuff and testing all the parts we got. So right now it's just a matter of tearing down this thing and seeing what I can save. All right, radiator support is unbolted. I got to get the wiring harness unbolted from the firewall. I think that's a 3/8 there to get this lamp harness off that's attached. I've got a heavy power wire here that probably went to the horn relay. It's cut now, but on these earlier Novas, power was pulled off the horn relay for some stuff. Some of them had a junction box over there, and over here, this is not a junction box, but a junction point where the car would get power here. So these things were wired, I don't know, I don't say unreliably, but they could cause you problems just from bad connections in a lot of places. So I may be changing some of that around when I rewire the car. Another thing is, a lot of people I see ask which hole in the subframe does the radiator support go in, and that would be the middle hole. So I'm going to get these charcoal canister lines off, unbolt the wiring, and then this should be able to come off. All right, now this should come off now. Out of the way. This radiator support is actually in good shape, so that's something good. Now we got an AC hose here. Wiring, good to go. All right, let's find a home for this. All right, with that out of the way, get the rest of this wiring out of here. This gutter of wiring used to mount up here is 2 5/16 screws. That is broken, but that used to be up there. This is a vacuum line. This is the vacuum line for the AC controls, for the HVAC controls. Everything's vacuum on air conditioning cars. So I'll just put that out of the way for now. Here's that half of the engine harness. These are wire. Yeah, here's the wires that went down to the starter. The ends are cut off of those, of course. But we're going to be making modifications anyway, because this is not going to be wired up as it was factory, because this car had points with a bypass wire for the coil and all that. And none of that stuff's going to be needed. And somebody has definitely had this off before. This car, I haven't found anything on this car yet that somebody hasn't had their hands in and didn't necessarily put things back the way they were supposed to be. So I'm going to slice these hoses just in case the heater core is good. That way the hose comes right off. No issues, doesn't twist your tube on the heater core and risk screwing that up. You get the bottom one off, and that'll be ready to get this box off of here. All right, next will be this HVAC box. Whole bunch of 7/16 nuts and lags that go into the firewall. And I'm going to put all this stuff in a baggie just to keep it together. I'm sure I'll know what it is as soon as I see one of these lag bolts. They'll just like thread right into the steel firewall. I think that's it. Yep. Oh, and we got mouse nest. We got mouse nest. So we'll see what's left of the seats. Oh wow, this thing's packed. Holy smokes. Oof. They got all the stuffing out of the seats. Wow. I hate mice. AC box. Get out of the shadow here. Evaporator looks fine, but we're not going to use it. Going to have to repair the damage there. This is the resistor network for the blower, different speeds, and that should be the high-speed relay there, I believe. This thing is kind of broken, so we will be... Oh, there's some more of the mouse nest coming out of it. And it's going to need some repairs, but that section's underneath the fender, so don't have to be a perfect repair. It'll work just fine. Next stuff to go will be the brakes. As I said before, this is a drum brake system, obviously not power, and we're going to go with power disc brakes for sure. I'll just get the back brake line off of the distribution block. And that is it. This should come out of here. All right, next will be the power steering pump. I'm just going to take the hoses right off at the box. See if we get luckier with this. Yep, okay. Pressure side's good, but again, I don't know what hoses I'm going to use yet, because I don't know if I'm going to run Hydro Boost or just the regular power steering. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right, in the trunk with the rest of the stuff. All right, I think that's good enough to get started. I mean, that's as far down as we need to go, except I am going to remove that frame stand there, because that's not the one I'm going to be using. Those are not the ones. I'm going to go over all the different Nova frame stands shortly, because the next thing we're going to be doing is flying the engine and transmission in here. I think I'm going to maybe I'll take the wiper motor off just to get more room for the camera, and I'll get the throttle cable out, because that's not going to we're not going to use that. That will not be used for sure. I think that's it, and I can do that stuff off camera. I don't see any damage to the subframe. It looks really good, other than being just completely greasy mess, which is fine because that keeps it from rusting. but I think it is going to come out. I mean, the bushings, they don't look bad, but I'm thinking maybe take the subframe out and do poly bushings. Yeah, because see that one, that's no good. All right, I'm going to end this one here. I know we didn't do a whole lot. It was mostly just tearing it down to get it ready for the mock-up to do all this stuff, but there's so much going to be going on with checking part fitment for oil pans, for headers, for mounts, all kind of stuff. I didn't want this to run into that and turn it. It would be really long because we're going to get into a bunch of different stuff, and hopefully in the end we can figure out a low buck way to do, you know, the right oil pan, a set of headers that'll fit, and get the engine mounted in there where everything will clear and everything looks good. Because this is a low buck way to do it. I'm not buying a $800, $1,000, $1,200. Some of these kits are insane, you know, package to put this in. I'm going to try to do it as reasonable as possible and with as much detail and information that you can use to make your own decision. Maybe we'll do this and you'll say, you know what, I just want to buy a kit. And that is totally up to you. So that is coming up next. We're going to use, at first, the Turbo 350 case and a 5.3 mock-up engine, and use that for fitting everything and seeing how things work. And then after that all gets hammered out and we know what's what, we'll get into putting the cam in the 6-liter and switching to a 6-liter and switching to a 6-speed. So that'll be it. I'm just going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to try to clean some of the gunk off this subframe. I'm going to remove that one motor mount. We'll talk all about motor mounts. Don't worry about that. And maybe the wiper motor and the throttle cable, I'll take those off and that'll be it. And we'll come back and get started. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for following along, and thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. We will see you on the next one. Later.